Hey there folks, and welcome back. The Space Engineers dev team has been added again. It seems just about every week they come out with a nice fresh new update, and this week's update is refining and assembling. So now you can take your ores that you mined, you can refine them, and you can assemble them into parts. Unfortunately, you can't build anything yet because the tools aren't implemented yet, but let's show you the refining and assembling. So off screen I did a little bit of mining, and we have some uranium, iron, nickel, magnesium, stone, platinum, and cobalt. That's all the ore that was on this particular world, so that's that. And we are on our mining ship at the moment, rather our refining ship and assembling ship. And what you do to refine is fairly simple. Just go over here, press K, and you drag and drop. And then once you leave the panel, it will automatically start refining, and it will give us our different types of ores and whatnot. And it takes a little while because I gathered quite a bit so I can show you all the different things that you can build. So in the meantime, we're going to fly over to something else that I've been working on off screen for a while. You know how last episode I said I wanted to build a light frigate, a medium frigate, and a heavy frigate? Well, I've completed that, and I'm going to show you that right now. And there they are off in the distance. We'll take a tour of them once we show you the refining and assembling. You don't quite get an appreciation of the scale of these things until you're actually walking the decks, but they are actually surprisingly large. So here we have them lined up in order. We have the light frigate on your right, the medium frigate in the middle, and the heavy frigate on the far left. Alright, let's exit the ship and see how the refining is going. Oh, the gravity's all weird. I'm gonna have to orient this properly. Hopefully that'll be a bit better. Actually, if we get up pretty close, we'll be able to get a good idea of the scale of these things, because this is a fairly sizable mining ship, and it's tiny compared to these things. Alright, let's park it in the middle here. And meh, good enough. Oh, that was why. My jetpack was on. Alrighty then, let's take a look and see what has been refined. And here we have our uranium ingots, our iron ingots, nickel ingot, magnesium powder, gravel, platinum ingot, and cobalt ingot. And we have some assemblers on this ship, but because I'm going to show you the medium and the heavy frigate, I've showed you a tour of the light frigate before, so we'll just do the reassembling in the frigate. So this is our medium frigate. Here we have just a little observation bay. We have 3 armor at the front, and here's our landing bay with storage for some crafts, and then this is your standard command and control section. And here we have a stairway to the upper portions, and here we have our assembling room with storage and whatnot. So to assemble things, let's just drag all of our different items in here. It can't hurt. Not all of the things you can build yet, and I'm sure there are going to be more things that you can build, but these are all the things that you can build at the moment. which is still quite a bit. You can build construction components, metal grids, interior panels, small steel tubes, girders, steel plates, steel tubes, motors, displays, reactor components, computers, bulletproof glass, thrust components, gravity generator components, medical components, guns, detector components, radio communication components, all your different little welders, grinders, and then ammo for your guns. So I think that's for your handgun, that one right there. This one's probably for your Gatling gun, and your missile launcher container things. So when we click on these, it says what you need, and unfortunately we don't have potassium, so we can't build this one. However, we have all of this, so we can build one of those. And we have iron and magnesium, so we'll get one of those. We have iron and magnesium, so we have enough to build these. What about the large steel tube? Yep. Motor. We do not have any silicon. Don't have any gold. Nope. 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 Actually, I think we might be able to build this. Platinum, iron. Nope, we need gold. Yep, looks like that's all we're able to build at the moment, because my world is lacking in some resources. But then to build it, you just exit this, and in a little bit, that'll be done assembling our new weapons and construction equipment. That should be enough time. There we go, we have that. We'll take our extra gun. Construction component. Come on. There we go. Alright, there we go. And you can drop them and you can see what they look like, but unfortunately you can't interact with them further. So if I go here, I can drop that, and I can drop that. So that's what those are. I'm guessing the grid's probably for just construction in general, and, well, construction components. Same thing. But now on to the updated medium frigate. So we have our standard ladders that bring us to the Gatling stations, and this has remained the same. And there's another ladder for the Gatling station. But what has changed is in here. I've made a double doorway for extra protection, and it brings us to the forward firing station, which I kind of walled off. So in case we have some boarders or whatnot, you can fire at them. And you have a little bit of cover. And here we have our firing stations. We have our Gatling stations that are forward facing, and we have our missile turrets. Yeah. And you gotta watch out for these because you can get stuck in them. But anyhow, so that's what I've added to the medium frigate. The rest of it, well, actually there has been a little bit of a change. So if we go over here, this will bring us to this same room that we were in before. All is well there. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what else I've added. And we're just going to run on through here. And before, I had added this middle floor that really didn't have any use other than just existing. And now I've given it a use. Not only will you use it as a second way to get up to the bridge through this staircase, we have, well, the same mezzanine. Oop, that's new. But we have a way to go outside, and I just added a couple nuclear reactors. Yes, that's going to go out on the pods and for the firing stations. And we also have some interior turrets, just in case we have boarders. And when we get on these pods, you'll get a nice appreciation for the size of this ship. Yes, we are on the pods, which are those things right there, those small little things. And here we have our forward-facing guns and our side-facing guns. And our rear-facing guns. And yes, I put all these little walls in here so you can have cover when firing or being shot at. And then we wander around this side and it brings us to the other pod. And if there are borders, you can shoot at them from that area. Or if you're on this little platform, you can shoot at borders from this little area. And this just brings you over to the other pod. And this, that's the Gatling station up there, and there's another Gatling station and a rocket station up there. And if we were to fly around, you'll see where these are. This is that middle hallway with the staircases. And then here's those Gatling stations over there with the rocket stations. And then here's the forward stations that we were running through before. And then there's one other thing that I have to show you guys that I've added to the medium frigate since last time I showed you. Let's go through here. And it is kind of like a maze, but that's alright. If you built the ship, you know what it's like. But if there's a person boarding your ship, they don't know anything about it, so it always is to your advantage to know the layout of your ship. Alright, we're going to make our way up to the bridge. There's one more thing I have added to this medium frigate. But it's not in the bridge, it's on top of the bridge. I have another staircase here that leads to the final firing positions that I've added to this ship. As soon as we make our way up there, we'll explore around a little bit. And here we are, we're at the very, very tippy top of our ship. You have a very commanding view of everything from here. It'd be a great place to command and shoot from. You have great visibility over all of the firing positions on the ship. And we have our rear-facing guns, our walls to protect us. We have our missile launchers and whatnot. So that's our medium frigate. And now we'll show you the heavy frigate. The heavy frigate has an extended hangar bay, so you can fit more craft inside. More fighter craft to protect your ship. Sorry about that. And then the other thing that I've added is a couple more firing stations that they are accessible from the walkway from up here. So before, this was all walled off, but now we have a new firing station, actually several new firing stations. We have one here, and one here. And we also have another protective spar that runs alongside, so that'll protect us from missile fire and whatnot. And it's going to be exactly the same on the other side, so there's no point in running over there and showing you that. However, up here is extended. So we have quite a few more firing stations on top of this now. Also, I've added, this now has 5 armor deep, so that should be able to handle at least one missile without breaching the interior and hurting the aircraft inside. So that'll be nice. And I've also added a couple more spars and a couple more maneuver pods, because we did add quite a bit of weight to this. However, surprisingly, the ship is still very maneuverable. Alright, that's about it for this update. I wish I could show you more things that you can build, but unfortunately this world is lacking quite a few resources. So maybe I'll come at you with another update episode where I have all the resources and I can show you all the different things that you can make. But that's about it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.